Greetings viewers, if you click the video link, you're here to listen to me talk about helmet bridges, and in specific, we are going to be looking at the one made by Agilite, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I've got it installed here on my helmet. We're going to go ahead and do an unboxing, which won't take very long, an installation, and then we'll just kind of talk about helmet bridges and why you may or may not need one. So let's jump right into it. All right, so let's go ahead and open this thing up. This is all you get. There's not a whole lot of frills to this package. It's a plastic bag with the name brand for the company on it. Pop it out. We've got some silica gel packets, and we've got our little retail tag on here in case somebody wants to display it in their store. These little flaps are stuck together, so you're going to have to separate that Velcro. And the same thing back here. So this is what it's going to look like once you've got it fully opened up and removed from the package. So again, not really much for an unboxing here. So let's take a look at what we've got in the back here. So this portion right here around the back panel, so this would go on the back of the helmet, has this kind of rubber flaps here you can pull up. We've got the shock cord that extends all the way up the length of it, so you can put your battery packs, counterweights, everything in here. This Velcro's down on that. We do have two infrared reflective Velcro stickies here that you can put wherever you need to on your helmet for unit identification purposes. So again, in addition to that big large pouch we've got, we also have these elastic loops where you can put batteries, chem lights, counterweight material, or whatever you choose to use in there. So then you've got all your just hard Velcro on this side. And that's it. Again, not a whole lot to it. So let's go ahead and get this thing installed on the helmet. All right, so here we have the Team Wendy helmet. I did do a video putting this helmet cover on there. The helmet itself has Velcro underneath, but with the helmet cover on, we've got Velcro in similar areas, and that's going to aid us in getting this thing to stick. Now, the one issue we're going to run into is these two wings on the back here. There's nothing for them to stick to. If I were to slap this on the helmet here, these wings are just going to kind of want to stick out over the side where the rails are, so we don't need those. So we're going to turn it over, and all we're going to do is just grab one of them and separate it. We do have these little flaps here. They are designed to wrap up underneath the helmet. So we're going to go ahead and start at the front because we need these side wings on this portion. In order to get these kind of bat wings or whatever you want to call them to stick on the side location where they might actually be useful, we need to make sure that they're actually going to stick to something. So we're going to stretch those out. So they do have elastic cord on them. It stretches a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and stick one down, stretch the other side out, stick it down. Make sure this lays down centered on the back of the helmet. It's going to hang down just a little bit past the back, which is fine because the whole point of that counterweight is to fight against the front. So the lower kind of it is, it's going to pull back a little more. That'll give us an opportunity to, we're going to pull these little flaps down and then press this against the back of the helmet as best as we can. We want to hit as much of that Velcro as possible so that it sticks. Then we have to flip this over, and we are going to have to kind of do what we did when we installed the helmet cover. We need to peel the interior portion of the helmet away so that we can get access to that blue Velcro underneath. And then this is going to flip down inside the helmet so that it goes ahead and grabs and holds on everywhere we need it to. All right, so again, I just used my handy Lego brick separator to get down in there and separate the Velcro material. We were able to get those straps wrapped down and placed down in there where they go. Everything's looking good. It may take some adjustment once you get it on. You need to kind of shift some things, stretch this a little more, slide it over one way or the other because it's not perfectly centered. I'll probably screw with it just a little bit. So let's go ahead and start talking about what is a helmet bridge and why you may or may not need one. All right, so we've got our helmet bridge installed. So why did we do that other than just because it looks cool and we felt like we needed it? So this one in specific, I would like to give a shout out to the Shoe Shine Apprentice 3495. Thank you for pointing out this product in specific to me. I was originally looking at the TNVC Mohawk. He dropped a comment in the installation of the helmet cover video that I did, which brought my attention to it. I looked into it and it was exactly kind of what I needed and wanted, and I really like the way it looks and all the functions and features that it has. So I kind of went over those a little bit already. But in general, the features of most helmet bridges, this is not the only one on the market. There are several others. You don't have to run out and buy it just because it's in my video or because I said I like it. It may not fit your needs. So we'll just go over what you may need in a helmet bridge, and you can kind of decide for yourself if it has the features that you want or if there's something else out there for you. So number one, the main purpose of a bridge would be to hold your battery pack or counterweight, simply because once you strap some NVGs on the front of your helmet and it starts adding that weight, if you have nothing in the back, it's going to be really difficult to operate as you're walking around and moving. Your helmet's going to be bouncing with it. They're going to be kind of hanging down in a position that's, number one, not comfortable, but also compromising your vision. They're not going to be lined up where they need to be. Obviously, they do come with a battery pack that you would put in the back somewhere, but if you were going to mount just Velcro to this thing and slap it on there, for one, the weight alone of just the batteries isn't going to be enough, depending on what NVG or thermal setup you're running on your helmet. It's not going to be enough to counterbalance that weight to kind of help pull the helmet back. Also, just the Velcro in general being stuck on there, if it gets wet, if it gets dirty, if it gets snagged on something and ripped off and you no longer have your battery pack, that's really not going to do you a whole lot of good. So that's why we want some kind of pouch to put it into, or something that's going to hold it for us. So in the case of this particular bridge, we have to lift this up. There is some shock cord in there that's going to kind of be obstructing us from getting it into this little pocket. But once you finagle it and get it down inside of there, it's not like it's just going to slip off and fall off of your head and you're going to lose your battery. So that's definitely a nice little secure solution that they have going here. I really like that. Once you get it installed, you just flip this back down and you've got it double covered in terms of making sure it's not going to go anywhere. Well, we have to connect that battery pack to our night vision or thermals that we have on the front, which is usually going to be done by some sort of a wire. Well, we don't just want to plug in the NVGs and then plug in the battery pack and have this thing flopping around all over a helmet if you want to talk about a snag hazard. So that's generally why we have these shock cords here that run from the front towards the back. You can weave this in between there, whatever suits your needs, and have it wrangled into a position, again, that's not going to be a snag hazard and get caught on everything. Again, you're keeping that cable secure in a location you know it's going to stay put, because these elastic bungees are going to hold it down in place. If you are running some sort of IR strobe, generally that's either placed on the top or towards the rear of the helmet for maybe aircraft or other units on the ground to be able to see you and identify you as a friend from foe. These are going to also help in order to keep that kind of in place. Yes, the Velcro is nice again, but if it gets wet, if it gets dirty, stuff starts pulling on it, depending on what kind of terrain you're running around in or obstacles you're crawling through or around, something can easily grab and rip that off. Having a little bit extra something on here to help try and keep your equipment where it's supposed to be, on your head with you, not on the ground somewhere leaving it behind. Always a nice feature. So again, we have some options when it comes to the elastic here. You can slide these laser engraved plastic pieces up and down to again accommodate or put things where you need them to be if you need to move it to help strap things down. One of the other features that I like about this particular helmet, again, I showed you on the back here, we had those bat wings that on this particular helmet were not any good. You may have a different helmet, you may not have rails on it, and there's Velcro here you can stretch out and kind of help spread that load a little bit. The one up front is nice. We already have soft Velcro on the front panel on the side, so stretching this over just kind of helps extend that and it actually gives us a little bit more surface area. Again, identification patches, IR patches, morale patches, using it as anchors for different equipment or things that you may need to put on there. It's nice to have options. This one you can theoretically remove if you wanted to. You just have to pull up on this Velcro portion here and you can slide it out the side so you just have the Mohawk and the counterweight portion. So again, I like having options. In this instance, it's not bad having it on there. It's just fine. Theoretically, it would help spread out the weight distribution kind of, in a sense. Maybe I'm just making that up in my brain, because again, we've got our heavy NVGs in the front, we've got our counterweight that's supposed to be pulling back, so we've just got this constant like struggle from front to back here. So having something that kind of spreads the load out to the side and kind of pulls from that direction to help maintain some of that stability is nice. Whether it's actually doing anything in that regard, I don't know, but it feels like it does, so I'm just gonna say yes. So this is a ballistic helmet. It is gonna weigh a little bit more. I know some guys run bump helmets. Number one, they're cheaper and they don't really need the ballistic advantage when they're in the field if they're doing some sort of hunting with night vision or thermals. So when you do that with a non-ballistic version, again, it's gonna be a little bit lighter. So in this instance, you do have a little bit of the weight of the helmet, kind of like the weight of a firearm helping absorb recoil. You've got the weight of the helmet that's helping hold a little bit and fight a little bit more. If you are using a bump helmet, you are going to have a lot more of an issue. You may need to put more of a counterweight in the back, because again, that battery pack alone may not be enough. Using these loops for chem lights, you're not really going to increase your advantage there, but you can put spare batteries or other things back here, and again, weights that are going to help kind of balance that out a little bit. So pretty simple, pretty easy. Let me know down below if you guys have a different helmet bridge that you're running that you prefer over this one, or maybe you didn't even know this one existed. If they've got all the same features, they pretty much do the same thing. As long as it's from a quality, reputable manufacturer, you're probably not going to have issues with it. If you're buying it on wish.com or Temu, then you're probably going to get what you pay for. Stitches are going to come undone. The elastic's going to break or not be as durable as you may need it to be to hold your equipment in place. So if this is your shit hits the fan rig or your active shooter rig, whatever it is that you're running, your duty setup, you want to have quality stuff on there and available. Don't let your equipment fail you because you're buying cheap junk just to save a few bucks, because I guarantee you when something happens and your equipment starts falling apart, you're going to be wishing you spent that extra 50 bucks instead of being a cheapskate. So I definitely highly recommend this product. You don't have to buy it again just because I said so. I'm not obligated in any way to tell you to buy it because I'm getting money in my pocket. I paid for this with my own money after doing a little bit of research. Again, it's not the only product on the market. So anyway, if there's something that I didn't answer or didn't cover in the video you want to know a little bit more about, you have some questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. I try to answer and get back to all my comments as quickly as I possibly can. If it is something that's going to require a little bit more of an explanation and just words on a screen aren't going to cut it, I'll be glad to make another video or even a short just to kind of give you the answer to your question. So again, please feel free to reach out if there's something that's bugging you or you want to know. But with that, I am going to call the video here, so I appreciate your time. Have a great day, and we'll catch you in the next video.